Hey friends, welcome to my channel. My name is Lynn, and this is my flip of the Spellbinders July 2025 club kits. As per usual for my flip videos, I will make one flat, one layered, one interactive, and one pop-up card. Here's a quick look at the 4 cards that I'll make in this video, and I will timestamp this video so you can just jump straight to the card that you want to see me make. Today I'm going to be crafting with the 3D embossing folder, Better Press Club, the stencil, the small die, the large die. I think I worked just about all of them in. And the clear Stampin' Die of the month. Yeah, I used everything in this set of 4 cards. So let's go ahead and make these. Okay, so let's start off with my flat card, and for this card I am going to start with a colored card base. This is a good way to sort of cheat on the number of layers that you add to a card so that you don't have to add an extra layer just to get that really lovely, colored border or frame as your first layer. So I think that achieves the same look, and it's still one additional layer of cardstock. So when I define a flat card, it's not like a strictly flat card, meaning just your card base, but more that it is your card base plus at most one additional layer and maybe flat embellishments. But the whole concept, the whole idea behind a flat card is really just so that it's an easy mailer, like something that will definitely send for a single forever stamp here in the US, and that you don't have to pay extra postage. So it's always nice to have some of those cards on hand, because if you're mailing something and you know you're a little bit late getting it into the mail, you want to for sure not have it come back to you because of insufficient postage. So that's why I like to always have flat cards on hand. So here is how I'm gonna cheat a little bit, and to keep myself within my own definition of a flat card, instead of layering these additional elements like the sentiment banner and this fun little die cut cup, I'm actually cutting it out of a panel that I better pressed, and when I inlay that back in, it's all the same layer now. So I'm still sitting kind of within that definition of one layer of cardstock. And for the coffee, for the coffee, I'm going to cheat a little bit, but it's still pretty flat, and this will still ship for a single stamp. Now, if you're in the US, a single stamp basically means that your card or whatever you're sending has to be under 1/4 of an inch, and that it has to weigh less than 1 ounce, or at most 1 ounce. And so the weight and the thickness of your card matter. So the whole idea is not to have too many layers, not to have too many extras, and that way it will ship without any extra cost. So I am going to just adhere this down. This is better pressed into cotton card, and cotton card it's a little bit heavier weight, and it's very porous, it's very fibrous, and so it really drinks up liquid adhesive. And I always like to put a little bit of liquid adhesive because I feel like it's so heavyweight that dry adhesive probably is not enough to really have it stick and last for a good long time. So so that's why I like to use my liquid adhesive for that. This little cup and the sentiment and this snowflake, these are all from the large die of the month. And it's really, I mean, the large die of the month always is so full of a lot of details, and I use it a couple times actually in this set of cards. Okay, so now moving on to my layered card. This one, I already assembled the small die of the month. I actually made a couple of reels, so if you want to actually see how how to put together these cute little mugs, there's a Santa mug and a penguin mug that I put together, but you can also make a third one. You can also make a reindeer mug. Super duper cute. And so I just made a little short video if you want to see that. I'll post it as a short here on YouTube and as a reel on Instagram. This panel is gorgeous. It's a glimmered panel, and I actually had a lot of fun glimmering. I glimmered quite a few panels, and I did the inverted glimmering too. So when you hot foil, that's the positive. So that transfers the design onto your substrate. And I like to, when I'm hot foiling, I like to either use the Spellbinders Glimmer specialty paper or my hammer mill paper. Hammer mill really glimmers hot foils really well, but I've also had a lot of success with the Spellbinders colored cardstock if you want to hot foil onto colored cardstock. This, what you're looking at here, this is actually the negative foil. So after you've already foiled your design onto one panel, you can then just take like a flat hot foil plate, like a plain one, or what you could do is use the back of a large better press plate, because that's nice and flat too. And then you lay your remnant foil onto that, and then your substrate, your panel. And because look at this, actually the negative space, the space in between the snowflake pattern, that's all foil, and that would have all been waste if you don't have like a solid plate to foil that with. And so this is how you can basically use all of your foil. You can foil the positive, and then you can foil the negative or the remnant as well. And you used to need one of those fancy, like super solid plates. I think Pink Fresh might have been like the first to put one out, but lots of different brands make them. But these days you don't even really need that, because like even for example, the Better Press of the month, this month is A2 in size, so you could just use the back of that because it's a large enough plate, and that's all you need. You just need like a very large flat metal plate that can heat up and cover the size of your panel. And if you're just making an A2 size card, then you can just use a Better Press plate, the back of a Better Press plate. So not the part that's raised and has the design, but the blank solid part on the back. So so definitely, if you've never done the negative foiling, try it, because then you don't have to toss any of your foil. You can use it all. And if you want to see a video on that, let me know in the comments, and I can do a separate video tutorial on that. It's been a while since I've done hot foiling on camera. Usually from these flip videos, I try to prep as much as possible in advance. That way I can keep the videos a little bit shorter for everybody. But if there is ever anything that you want to see, I can always do a separate tutorial on it. So that was my layered card. Now onto my interactive card. Now this is actually the first card that I filmed. Look at all these panels. So I glimmered onto pearlescent card, I glimmered onto solid color cardstock, and I glimmered onto the Spellbinders specialty cardstock, and it's all gorgeous. It's all really, really lovely. So the foil that I'm using on that layered card and on this one, so the layered card was the negative and this is the positive. So I foiled this one first, and the foil I used was Prism. It's gorgeous. It's got a little bit of that iridescent shine to it. And I'm making an infinity shaker because I have these infinity shaker pouches, which make it really super easy. It's already cut, it already has the tabs all scored and ready to go. And so all I have to do is just put some adhesive along all four edges on the back of my panel. And then I like to fold over just 3 of the edges, leaving one edge open so that I can actually pour in my shaker bits. And I'm just gonna keep everything nice and monochromatic behind here. I did pull out some sequins with a little bit of color, but then I just decided against it. But what I do like whenever I make a shaker is I do like to put in something that's gonna rattle around, make a little bit of noise. So I put in some seed beads, so that way when you shake it around, you can really hear it moving around in there. So with a infinity shaker, there's a lot. I mean, the whole card front is a shaker, so you don't really have to fill it up too much, but I do like to be a little bit more on the generous side just so that you can get a lot of movement going and so that it doesn't feel too chintzy, when it's complete. And it's as simple as that. Once you have your shaker bits in, you can seal that fourth tab of the shaker pouch and glue the whole thing to your card base. And so this is the penguin mug that I assembled earlier, and then I'm gonna add another sentiment from the clear stamp of the month, which is all sentiments, but there are some fun little snowflake patterns, which I think you could, it would be fun to kind of just stamp that out as a little like a background pattern. I think that would be fun. And if you get the dies that go with the stamp of the month, then everything basically has a die to cut it out. So you've got these sentiment dies that cut like a nice, like pretty close border to each of the sentiments, which is kind of nice. I feel like coordinating dies didn't always have dies for sentiments this way. It feels like that's only been something in the last couple years, and now it's pretty consistent. I see a lot of places doing this now, and I like it a lot. It used to be just straight banners, but I like having these close cut sentiments. So I'm gonna keep this pretty simple. I'm putting my penguin on to the front and the sentiment onto the front. And I just used a little bit of a dotty tape runner on the curvy parts of this mug so that the dotty tape runner, it'll just apply those little dots of adhesive where there's actually cardstock, and that way you can get a little bit of adhesive kind of all the way around those curves and not have to worry about adhesive just hanging off the edges. And so that's it for my Infinity Shaker card. A super fun, easy card to put together. Okay, so onto my fourth and final card, which will be my pop-up card. And this one features like a little bit of everything, I think. So I am starting off with, this is some double-sided adhesive sheet and a little bit of low profile foam that doesn't have any adhesive on it. So I've applied a little bit of that double-sided adhesive sheet. And then I'm going to die cut these little sweater sleeves. I'm die cutting into the side that has the adhesives. The adhesive is touching, or with the liner of course, but it's touching my dies. It's not on the back. Because you know how sometimes when you die cut something that has a double-sided adhesive, it's so that you can kind of turn it into a sticker. It would normally be on the back, but I've die cut it on the top. So the adhesive is on the top. And the reason for that is because I'm actually going to add flock to this. It's so I have this flock stuff from Pink and Main from like years and years ago. Never ever used it. But when I saw these little sweater sleeves, I just thought, oh, wouldn't it be cute if it like really felt nice and like fuzzy and soft. And that's what the flock material does. It gives it it actually makes it kind of feel like felt. It feels felted and it's very tactile. So it's just a fun little detail. So if you are a person who likes to kind of touch things and likes different textures, this material is really, really lovely. I had a lot of fun with it. So basically, you just peel off the liner of your adhesive and pour a generous amount of the flock over it and then just burnish it in with your fingers. Now, the downside to this is that see how the die has all of that really lovely patterning? It's got the little knitting and all of that detail. Once you add the flock material to this, it really it fills in quite a lot of it. So you can still see some of that detail, but not a whole ton of it. And so that's a little bit of a trade-off. So like even on camera, you really can't see hardly any of that detail. In person, I still can see some of the pattern of the sweater, but it's still pretty subtle even to the naked eye. So that is one trade-off, but it feels really lovely. And there are some people who are very tactile, and so if you're making cards for folks who just like to touch things, like the texture of different things, this would be a fun little thing for them. Adding something that has a little bit of that flock material on it, super fun. This panel here is, I actually better pressed this, not to ink up a pattern, but more to use it as a dry emboss folder. So I thought that was a really lovely way to get a nice subtle pattern into this specialty card. If you didn't already know, Spellbinders does have a new set of colored treasured cardstock. Their treasured cardstocks are collections, specialty card collections where in a single colorway you get different types of specialty card in different finishes. So you would get like a mirror card, a satin mirror, I think like a pearlescent. You would also get there's I think 5 different ones, and you get 3 sheets in each of those 5. So it's really great for getting a lot of different types of specialty card. And before, when they first came out with it, they had gold, rose gold, and silver. And now they've put out 4 additional colors: black, white, red, and teal. Really love that teal made the cut. So to finish the front of my card, I took one of the dies from the large die of the month, and I just cut it out of some white scrap paper, and I split those 2 halves, with the wavy edges, into opposing corners. And then I just die cut these lovely snowflakes and stamped a little sentiment into one of those corners. Now I'm keeping the front really simple, because this is the pop-up card, so I like for all of the fun to be on the inside. So I don't mind if the front is a little bit simple, because the inside is where all the action's gonna be. So these little snowflakes I also cut out of some of the specialty card. Now there's I think the glitter cardstock might be the only one. Oh, I did use some glitter cardstock. I did, because the mugs have some of the black glitter cardstock, and I think Santa has some of the white glitter cardstock as well. On the front of this card is where I used the matte mirror card, or the matte metallic cardstock. There's also a brush metallic in the set, and then there's mirror metallic and pearl metallic. really, really lovely. So those are the different finishes in this new line of treasured cardstocks. And now you get them in more colors. So you have black, white, red, and teal. And you know what's cool though? The black and the white, I think their brushed metallic really isn't a metallic, but it's more, it feels like a satin finish. It's really velvety smooth. Talk about tactile. It's just really lovely. I used it on this card too. I assembled the mittens from the large die of the month, and I used a little bit of that white brush cardstock, and it feels like it's got that nice smooth satiny finish. It's really lovely. Now this is the stencil of the month. You get 5 stencils, 4 of them layer to create this sort of like a sweater pattern, and I'm just taking the exact same ink pad, one color, and creating a monochromatic look by starting with some layers that are really light-handed, barely any ink, and then just each layer I just go in a little bit with a little bit of extra ink each time, and so it keeps everything nice and monochromatic because it's the background. I don't really want it to be super colorful, but I do like to have some patterning there. So then this is my actual pop-up mechanism. This is probably the second easiest pop-up mechanism. So this piece here measures 4 by 1.5. And then along the 4-inch edge, I scored at 2. So you just score it directly in half. And then from that halfway point, you score a diagonal line to the outward corners so that you can create these triangles. And that's basically it. You can make this any size for any size card you want. Super, super duper easy. And then everything is a mountain fold. So you just fold all of that down and burnish it really well. I cut this out of heavyweight cardstock. So this is 100 pound. And when you go to attach this, there's a little bit of a dry fit. It'll look a little something like that. So when it opens, you have these 2 sort of triangles that you can attach things to. And then when you go to attach this to the inside of your card, you only want to put adhesive on those 2 ends that have just that triangle. And then you want to butt this up against the fold of your card, but don't go over the fold of your card. Because if you cross over, then your card isn't going to fold down nicely. So then on the other side, you just put adhesive in that triangle, just that one triangle. Fold your card down closed. That way you know your card will fold close. And when it opens, if you're using a liquid adhesive, give yourself a little bit of time. Let it grab and dry so that it doesn't shift and move on you, because the whole reason for attaching this when you fold your card closed is so that it always will fold down flatly. And I've found that's the easiest for me. Whenever I attach anything, I fold the card closed to attach it, and then that way I know it will it'll definitely fold. Now this is going to be a super duper bulky card because I'm adding these felted or flocked sleeves, and this in any case was already cut from low profile foam, so it's it can wrap really easily around that triangle base. So I thought that would be really fun way to have our little mechanism. So it just pops up and the 2 hands are open like that. So I thought that would be cute. And the whole idea that I wanted to go with though was that as a kid, I kind of liked to, as the snow was falling, sort of like catch the snow in my hands, catch the snow in my mouth. And so I thought that would be like a fun little scene to create on the inside. So I'm attaching some clear acetate stands. This is a more heavyweight acetate, or you could use some clear packaging material that you cut down. And I'm attaching the acetate to my mittens. And then I'm gonna attach my snowflakes to the other end of the acetate. And that way it feels like it's floating and like kind of falling out of the air. So I thought that would be kind of fun. And so you just start with like, however, about half an inch wide. And then I just have these strips. So you can see here, like I always make sure that I kind of position things when my card is closed so that I can make sure that when the card is actually closed, everything that I'm attaching stays inside the card. Nothing peeks out from the edges. And sometimes it can be deceptive and hard to tell when something is going to stay inside the bounds of your card base. When it's like kind of dimensional and in 3D space, it's hard to tell where it's going to land when the card closes. So that's why I like to kind of, attach things or at least preview things where they'll end up being when the card is closed before I actually glue it down. And so I'm just going to add 3 little acetate stands here and just have those snowflakes falling down. So isn't that fun? I just thought it was a little cute idea. So here's a look at my final cards. This features the Better Press Club, and the large die of the month is where the cup and the sentiment come from. This one features the glimmer of the month, the small die of the month, and the clear stamp of the month is where the sentiment comes from. And there's a lot of specialty cardstock here, but we kind of made our own specialty cardstock by glimmering the positive. From this one, I glimmered the negative on the previous card. This is my interactive card, which again features the glimmer of the month, the small die, and the clear stamp and die of the month. And my last card, my pop-up card, just about has something from everything. So this features the Better Press Club, the large die of the month, the clear stamp of the month, the stencil of the month, and that's it. It doesn't have the glimmer or the small die of the month. And when you open it up, the hands pop open. You've got that flocking material on the sleeves of the sweater, and you have the snowflakes coming down that the hands are catching. So that's my flip cards for today. Let me know if you have a favorite one in this set of 4, and I'll leave links to everything below. New club signups start on the 6th of the month. Thanks for checking out my video today, and until next time, happy crafting and have a fabulous day. Bye.